if you are experiencing any of the following symptoms, then you may be continuously eating something that is creating inflammation in your body, which is ultimately moving to your brain. And I'll explain a little bit about that today. So some of these symptoms include joint pain, nasal congestion, fatigue, acid reflux, flushing of face, skin rashes or eczema, brain fog, low mood, snoring, anxiety, and pain in your abdomen. So I'm here today to explain all about food sensitivities. That is what I was just sharing with you the symptoms of. What food sensitivities look like and how to get real hard data on what your sensitivities are and why that's important. So this is different than an allergy to a food. The food sensitivity I'm speaking of is more of a delayed response. So obviously with allergies, that reaction's pretty quick, right? We start swelling up in our face and all kinds of not fun stuff, in our throat. That happens. But with IgG sensitivities, now IgG means immunoglobulin G. Now these are actually a little bit more of a delayed response symptom that pops up anywhere between 1 and 3 days after eating that food. So as you can imagine, these are pretty hard to figure out, especially when we're eating. I mean, we bring in a lot of different food, right, on any given day. So I want to mention, though, a lot of people think food sensitivity symptoms also include digestive-like symptoms, things like bloating and gas, where that is not necessarily the case. That's more telling me that different work needs to be done on the gut in different areas. So if you are experiencing bloating and gas, just know that that isn't necessarily a food sensitivity, but maybe something different going on. So what I do to confirm food sensitivities with my family and my clients, I use a lab. It's called, it's from Great Plains Laboratory. It's an amazing company. It's all functional medicine. So like it's getting root cause stuff, not diagnoses or anything like that. The lab that I use, this one checks 190 different foods. So one thing I want to mention is that some of these labs just send you the results and you get like a general summary of information at the end of it, just saying like, oh, maybe do this or that. Sometimes you just get the results and you just like you don't get anything. So if you are looking to run a test, definitely make sure you get that one-on-one consultation with someone so that you can really ask questions and deeper understand what is going on in your body. When someone orders a lab through me, I sit down with them, I explain the lab to you, I outline your next steps for you, and answer any questions, obviously, moving forward. It's a bit more comprehensive in what I provide because I'm able to help you understand what other labs, what other types of labs will help you find answers, even more answers if that's what you're looking for. I'm not just going to give you results and leave you on your way, right? I really like to get my clients empowered to start making changes that are going to help heal their body at a faster pace. Now, with these results, in black and white and on paper, like it's so much easier. We can see these imbalances, where they exist, and what we need to do. So there's a bit more to it than just eliminating certain foods for certain periods of time. And chances are, from what I've seen in my practice and from what I've learned even through Dr. Cabral, my teacher, that as an adult, it's likely more than just food sensitivities for most people. It's more than just removing those foods for a little bit. Now, I know that this lab is more of a common thing that people are starting to go to for answers, and I absolutely love this because, again, functional medicine, this is the space where you get answers. But also, as you're bringing in foods that you're sensitive to, this causes the gradual destruction of your intestinal lining. And it ultimately turns into what you would call leaky gut. And if you haven't heard of that, or if you'd like to know more about that, write leaky gut in the comments and I can put something together for you guys. Like that's what I'm here for, is to share all of this. But ultimately this deteriorates to your gut lining and it ends up moving up to your brain. And this is where mental health struggles can really start from the physical perspective. And you start to see things like brain fog or even like an OCD type thing. It starts in your gut and then moves up. So this is because the brain has what's called the blood-brain barrier, and it's a similar construction in that it has a lining and things can seep through, and that's how you end up getting like a brain fog, is because it's toxins and all kinds of things are seeping through. It's very similar, the gut to the brain barrier there. So there is also an emotional perspective to it where, we talk negatively to ourselves. That's another huge component, and that's why I work on both the physical side of it and the emotional side of it, because both together is really where you dig into the root causes and get to where you want to be at a much faster rate. But I'm not speaking of that today. That's, if you guys want to learn more about that, I'm happy to share on that too, but I just want to focus on food sensitivities today. I've had people come to me after they've actually ran a test with another company, where they thought the results looked like they were perfect, they were good, right? And they didn't have anything wrong with them. So they came to me and they're like, yeah, I checked and it doesn't look like I have any food sensitivities. Well, the thing is I want to really quickly explain this. So what's going on is these little black marks are showing that you have a tiny sensitivity to food. And food is not a component of your body, so you should have some slight reaction to basically most if not all foods. But the thing is down in this end, you're not highly reactive to it, right? When you bring it up into this orange, that's when you're getting reactive. And obviously, even in the middle, you need to take some steps to really start reducing that reactivity to the food. But the thing is she didn't, these little black marks, you want that. And as you can see, like this is a healthy gut, right? The thing is though, is she didn't have any of these marks. And she was saying, well, I guess I don't have food sensitivities. I guess I need to look in the next direction. And that's the problem that I have with these labs, where they just give you the results and you're on your way, right? Because it's when she had no ticks on this, that's telling me that major gut repair needs to be done. Her gut was so overwhelmed, it's just like, I don't know what to do, right? So this can tell you so much more than even just food sensitivities if you have the proper knowledge behind yourself, right? I ran food sensitivities. These are what I'm showing on our boys. I did this late last year, and I ran them because kids can't always tell you when they're feeling these symptoms, right? Like they're different kinds of symptoms. So you have to be aware of how you're feeling things in your body to really understand what foods you're sensitive to. So you have to be careful with your diet. If you're trying to find the culprits of what's giving you those symptoms, to do it in a natural manner. I do that with my clients. We find the major food sensitivities, but we don't always find every last one of them unless we run a lab. Like it just takes any of the guesswork out of it. But you have to really be in tune with your body, right? To kind of understand where these sensitivities are coming from. So I want to show you two things with these labs. So I'm going to share really quickly both our older sons and our younger sons' labs. I want to show you that there can be two kids living with the same two parents in the same house, and they can have different sensitivities. And then also, I want to show you how invisible these sensitivities can be and how we can be contributing to inflammation without even knowing it. So our older son, let's see which one this is. There we go. I just realized some of his data is up here, so I'm not going to show you all that stuff. But his sensitivities, this is like the major, there's a lot of, several pages of lab results here, obviously with 190 things they're checking, but he was sensitive to almonds, chestnuts, bromelain, which is basically like the component in pineapple, gluten, and egg whites. So really quick, I want to explain the colors of the lab. So there's the darker green. It's like a mixture of green and yellow, and then yellow and orange. Down here in the green means nice, healthy gut, right? You're getting into the lighter green and the yellow, you're having some food sensitivities. And obviously if you're in the orange, you're highly reactive to something. So again, you want these little ticks, because that's showing you that your gut is registering something that's, different than what is in your body. So that's a good thing. And, you go from there. Obviously, if you have a lot of dark lines, that's not the best either. And again, that's requiring probably a lot of gut work, but that's doable. It's not impossible. I have healed a lot of guts. So his higher, for a shorter period of time, we had to eliminate almonds, chestnuts, and bromelain or pineapple. And we don't really eat chestnuts. So sometimes people are sensitive to things that they don't even really eat. One thing I want to mention is we had been drinking almond milk every day in our smoothies. And yeah, the protein in the almonds is different in milk than it is in just a straight almond. But you think, so it's probably a lesser degree of it, but still he was taking in almonds on a daily basis, because we were drinking almond milk in our smoothies, which you think, oh, a smoothie's healthy, right? This is why healthy looks different to everyone, because he's sensitive to almonds and I'm feeding him almond milk every day, right? Like, like that's not good, right? And he actually used to have issues with dairy, but we actually did some gut healing over this past summer, and he no longer really struggles with this. I usually still give him a digestive enzyme just to support him when he does have like a heavy dairy meal, but honestly, I don't think he needs it, but it is a good support to him when he is taking in those things. Now, some of his higher reactions, as you can see, are egg whites and gluten. So we took those out a little bit longer. Funny thing is before doing this lab, the only one of these sensitivities that I actually knew about was gluten. And that was just based on a kind of educated guess of mine. We used to eat a lot of eggs and a lot of pineapple. Anytime the kids were sick or had a sore throat, we'd be eating pineapple because it helps coat the throat, right? Where I was just creating more inflammation in his little body and making it harder for him to overcome the cold that he was fighting, right? So he was trying to fight multiple things at once. He was fighting the inflammation that I was feeding him with the pineapple, and then also the cold. So that alone, to me, just knowing that was huge, right? And the almond milk, like, I can remove these things for a period of time and recheck and see what has changed, because sometimes even just removing them can really start kind of healing the gut, and you're able to handle more of them. I found with many adults, you still need to really go in and heal the gut on top of that, but we'll get into that a little bit more. Now, our younger son, he did the same lab. We found his food sensitivities were egg whites, gluten, almonds, and Brazil nuts. And then also we had to take out like walnut a little bit longer, coconut, and bromelain. Now, again, the funny thing about this is the only one we really knew about. I had an inclination on the gluten as well with him. But we knew about the bromelain, we thought, because like a couple weeks before running this lab, he had said that his mouth felt weird when he ate that pineapple. So I was like, ooh, that might be more of an IgE, which is more of an immediate sensitivity, or maybe even an allergy of some sort, right? Like those can be obviously scary. So, at first I was like, well, I can understand it's a little bit, like I kind of was like, is it just that, because pineapple has that weird texture to it. But one thing I want to say to you guys today is if your kid ever does say that their mouth feels weird after eating, don't write it off. Like my brain was trying to write it off, but the integrative health practitioner in me was like, there's got to be more to this, So, just based on my own experience, don't write it off, and like, take a look at this, take a look at these labs, or do something else, or just cut that out for a little while. Now, the more we can do to heal our gut by removing these food sensitivities for a period of time, the better, right? Again, as adults, we generally require more work than just removing the foods. It's kind of similar to like a splinter, right? You have a splinter in your finger and you remove it. You remove the splinter, right? You're removing the foods that are causing the sensitivity. But now you want to put a little extra care into that and put, maybe an ointment of some sort. I like using more natural ones than, the antibiotic ointment, but put a Band-Aid on it, kind of protect it and just nurture it a little bit, right? We want to do the same thing with our gut, right? Because especially as an adult, we've been kind of working on tearing down our intestinal lining for a while, right? Like we've likely been taking these foods in for a very long time. So more damage has been done over time. So really to find that healing much quicker, we need to go in and use targeted supplementation along with all of the other lifestyle areas that contribute to whole health, and just putting your body into a place where it gets permission to heal, really. That makes healing come a lot quicker. So if you're interested in running this lab, please let me know. If you're interested in getting that guidance, and understanding what's best for you based on the amazing frameworks that I've learned and used time and time again, reach out. I'll put my scheduling link in the comments. It's an easy, quick click away. And what we do when we talk is we just kind of chat about what's going on, what you're experiencing, and then kind of go into what's the best next step for you. And it's free of charge. So give it a shot. I hope that helped you, and I hope you have a good day.